Good morning and welcome to my world. Today we're going to learn about garage sailing. This is a very important part of making money and adding beautiful things to your home. This series of lessons is intended to help you succeed, especially in an economy which is tough, and to offer hope for your family for the future. So let's start. First thing I do in the morning when I get up is I get my newspaper. The newspaper is your source of advertisements for local estate sales and garage sales. Now, today is Friday morning. I have my Friday's paper. It's critical that you have Thursday's paper as well. And the reason is, if you're going to get up and go to the time and trouble of going to sales, you want to make sure every sale you go to is a fresh sale. There's nothing worse than getting up early and racing out to a sale to find that they had the sale last week or yesterday or a dealer preview, because it's picked to the bone. There'll be nothing left. You'll have wasted your time when you could have been at another sale. So part of what we're going to talk about today is hunting smart. And it all starts with doing your research. First thing I do is I get my Friday's paper. I've made arrangements with my paper boy to make sure I get one of the earlier newspapers. If you don't live in an area where you can get a paper boy to deliver your paper, you need to find out the earliest location you can possibly get your newspaper, because I can assure you that your fellow competitors are also up early, and it's not an accident that they show up at an estate sale at 6 a.m. It takes a coordinated effort of planning ahead, and so when you get to an estate sale and you see a line of people there, all of those people did the same thing. They got up early, they did their research, they looked up the address, and they are there. Okay, to start with, you always got to have your coffee too. You know, I never quite wake up till I have my coffee. Anyway, I'll go to my section here, which is going to be the business section. And I should have gotten glasses a long time ago, but I procrastinated, so now I got to use my magnifier. Brian, can you hand me the magnifier, please? Ah, yes. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is, as I scan the paper, I look at the sales, and the first thing I want to do is note whether they start Friday or Saturday. Because if they start Saturday, it's not going to do you much good to go there on Friday at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. They're still asleep, they'll get mad at you, they'll remember who you are, you won't get in the sale the next day. So first thing I do is I go down my paper, and I use a code. If the sale starts today, I simply put the time it starts. Like this one says Alpine starts Friday and Saturday at 9 a.m. I just put a 9. If they start on a Saturday, I use an S. Next one here is Carmel Valley, Saturday, Sunday. And you know, as you read the ads, the most important thing you're looking for is you're trying to put yourself in the mind of the person who wrote the ad. You're looking for somebody who wants to get rid of the entire content. So if you have an ad and they say, sewing machine, vacuum cleaner, pair of size 9 shoes, you know that that's all they got. On the other hand, if they say entire house must be sold, furniture, appliances, clothing, yard equipment, whatever, and they go on, chances are you've got a sale where they're selling everything right to the bare bone walls. Most people know what antiques are, and if they have antiques for sale, they're going to say antiques in the ad. So if they don't say antiques in the ad, chances are they don't have anything close to an antique. But you never know. Anyway, I'm going to go down the paper and start marking this. You see Carmel for Saturday, Chula Vista Saturday, Del Cerro Saturday, Lakeside, final 2 days. Forget it. Last thing we want to do is be at the final 2 days. We want to be there before the first guy walks in the door. Here's a Mount Helix that started Thursday, but it says a picker's paradise. Note carefully the terminology used in these ads. When they say a picker's paradise, they know what a picker is. So chances are that sale had nothing to begin with. Also, I avoid sales that say things like costume jewelry or depression glass. And the reason I avoid those is because people are not ignorant as a rule. Most people are pretty knowledgeable. And if they start listing specific antiques, they're probably familiar with those antiques and other antiques, especially if they list things like baseball cards, because anyone can look them up in the Beckett's. People who focus on baseball cards many times focus on them for their value. So you've got to screen out the ads that list items that focus for value. As I go through this here, I see that we have some potentially interesting sales today. Here's one, San Diego Fry Saturday, house, garage, full, vintage, machinist. Anyway, they go on and on, fishing, clothes, and cash only. Early birds welcome. Ooh, early birds welcome. That's a little bit scary because I want to go to a sale where they don't even know what an early bird is. If they know what an early bird is, they know about garage sailing. So I'm going to give that a lower priority. What I do first is I choose the wealthy old areas because if there was wealth, there's chances that they had expensive items. And if they're older areas, people who live in older historic neighborhoods many times not only appreciate the architecture, but they have that same concern for the inside of their home, and they want their inside of the home to be just as beautiful with antiques and art that complement the outside. So wealthy old areas, very important. So as I look through my list, I do have a few here in better areas, so I'm going to keep that in mind as I go through it. Also, don't just look under estate sales. You know, one of the best sales I ever went to, the lady listed it as a garage sale, and sometimes they're listed in a separate part of the paper, like here we have in San Diego, the Great Garage Sale. And I asked her, well, why didn't you list this as an estate sale? And she said, you know, we don't have a single item that's 100 years old. I looked, but there were none, so I didn't put antiques in the ad, and I figured, well, if there's not antiques, it can't be a real estate sale. This is the woman having the sale. I bought a lot of great antiques and collectibles out of that house. Okay, also I'm going to check the garage sales here quickly. And again, I use the same rule. I don't care if the sale is under garage sales or estate sales. I look at the ad for the content of what it says. There's one here, Saturday, Sunday, moving after 33 years. I'll give that one a shot. I put a little S because it's going to, start on Saturday. And I'm going to go through this part of the garage sale and mark it the same way. Now, after I have my completed list, this is very important. You want to screen out the dealer sales unless you yourself feel you're an expert. Dealers make mistakes all the time. But if you are a novice, you better just stay to the warm shallows and stay out of the deep water. I go to many dealer-run estate sales and I do very well. But if you're just starting out, it's really important that you don't have a dealer in the picture to begin with. You want to get to the family-run estate sales. Read the ads. Many times at the bottom of the ad it'll say run by X estate sale company or whatever. Stay away from those. Focus on the sales that look like the family wrote the ad, and you will find that you do better as a rule. The next thing we're going to do is we'll take our list of sales that are fresh today and we pull out yesterday's paper just to make sure, and we're going to cross off every sale that was in yesterday's paper regardless of when it starts. It's critical to do this because when a sale has been in the previous day's paper, even if it's on Thursday and it says sale starts Saturday, I can assure you that my fellow constituents have been at that sale the day before. Hello, you know, we're here and we have to work tomorrow. There's just no way we can come to your sale, but we got a lot of money and we're here to buy and we need some X items. And they will say, oh, come on in. I've gotten to a house where the sale wasn't supposed to start till 8 a.m. and I've knocked on the door at 6 a.m. and they come to the door and go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not ready. Let me fix my hair. I'm gonna go in the house here and just put on my robe and I'll be right out and you can come in and take a look at what we got. And this is at 6 a.m. And sometimes I've been in there and I'm out by 6:15 and I've got all the treasure. I'm driving away and I see other people coming up to the door and the lady's going, well, I've got to get ready for my sale. I don't think I can let anyone else in. So they don't let anyone else in. You've walked away with all the plunder and the people start forming a line and you've already gutted the sale. So going to sales early is critical. Also, when you're done with your sales that are scheduled for that day, then you start your crash routine immediately, because I can guarantee you that many of the people that were waiting in that same line with you on Friday morning at 8 a.m. or at 9 a.m., by 9:30, 9:45, they've got their paper and they're heading to the Saturday sales. And they're not. But remember, competition is out there, and if you relax and you say, well, let's go get breakfast and then we'll go crashing sales, you can bet by the time you get to that sale that advertised jewelry and paintings and this and that, that they say, listen, we've already had some people here, we just don't have time to deal with you. So you've got to remember, it's the first who gets to that door that has the best chance of getting in. What we're going to do now is assume that we've had our list completed, which we don't. What I wanted to let you know is once you've got your choice of sales here marked, go on the internet. Go to places like Craigslist and see if they have advertised locally on Craigslist. Also check estatesales.net. It goes all over the U.S. Dealers can go in there and put information about their sales because they know dealers will use that as a place to find them. You want to avoid the dealer-run sales. If it's on estatesales.net, 99% of the time it is a dealer-run estate sale and you're pitting your knowledge against them. If you don't have a lot of knowledge, you better stay with the family-run estate sales. So what we're going to do now is Brianna and I are going to figure out our route, and then we're going to take off and we're going to go garage selling. But also, in my first video, which you can see on the internet, I don't know if you noticed, but in the background you can hear a squeaky ball, and then a little while later you can hear some growling. Well, that's my little dog Nugget. And my little dog Nugget is one of those things. He's like an antique in the sense that he enriches my life. So let me introduce you to Little Nugget. I'm very lucky to have a dog like Little Nugget. I found him at the pound. And here we have Little Nugget. He's a mutt, but he's a very sweet little mutt. But he is demanding of my attention. Nugget, come over here in the light. I want you to say hello to everybody. There he is. There's Little Nugget. Now Little Nugget, he's a very loyal sidekick. He sits in my cart when I go to antique shows, and you will see that in the future. And he doesn't mind being buried under boxes of this and that. As long as he has a little bit of space and he's warm, he's rather happy. But here's the little source of the growling and the squeaker ball in our first video. And he's a very sweet little dog, aren't you, Nugget? Okay, let's get back to business.